Hello and welcome back to the AOR F1 Championship. It's Season 10 with PC Split 1. We're at Silverstone for the 8th round and the British Grand Prix. My name is Justin, and joining me once again, it's Alex.
Hello everyone, yes of course, Silverstone, always my home race, a track I quite enjoyed, very high speed circuit. I'm looking forward to see how the drivers tackle that today.
Yep, should be a fun one. Of course, Silverstone has thrown up some changing conditions as well, so we'll be on the lookout for any sort of dark clouds. Last time out, it was Magnussen who took the win after a very wet start with Marco on pole. The changing conditions in Canada made things very interesting, and a poor restart behind the safety car saw Marco drop to third behind Titan of Racing, where they would finish the race. Because of Marco's podium and a DNF from Klawutzke, the championship lead has been extended, with Marco sat on 126 points, while Klawutzke remains at just 81 points, just 1 point ahead of Hamish, who finished 7th in Canada. Enough about last week, though. Let's kick things off for the British Grand Prix, starting with the qualifying report.
Welcome to the qualifying comparison. Today we have Marco FD and Double D, both in Ferraris, both setting very competitive times. Flat out through this first corner, onto farm curve, still flat out, braking for the third corner, very difficult. You want to try and get the car over to the right and flick it to the left so you can get the best possible exit onto this straight. You can see Double D is using Marco FD's slipstream here. However, he is about half a tenth behind at this cut point. Coming up to Brooklands now, you want to try and get as close to the left hand side and then flick it wide and then down to first gear. They're going to shift up quite early into second just so they can get traction onto the old pit straight. Coming up to Cops now, it's a flat out corner in 7th gear. There's not too much to do now up until the Maggots and Beckett's complex, just coming up after this sign here. It's really easy to cut and extend here, so both drivers will be very careful. They're both going to shift down to 4th and early shift up into 5th gear. You can see Double D actually shift down to 3rd there for a moment. You can see Marco FD is now about 1.5 tenths ahead of Double D. Very difficult now not to try and extend as they come up to this chicane complex, which is extremely difficult. Marco going a little bit wide on the exit to club, but it's not too bad, shifting it up early into 2nd gear so we can get the traction, and that is what 4.5 tenths looks like around Silverstone.
So there it is, Marco FD, the championship leader, on pole position in his Ferrari here at Silverstone. And I'm sure he's going to be very happy about that. Of course, he got pole in Canada, and that didn't do him much good as he finished the race in 3rd. And there is your Canadian Grand Prix winner, Magnussen, starting the race from 2nd position, just 11 one-thousandths of a second shy of Marco FD in qualifying. Incredibly close, and less than a tenth back to Honey Badger in the Red Bull. So very, very close between all of those guys. And then a bit of a gap now down to Double D in 4th position, the second of the Ferrari cars. Deshima, a new driver from Finland, driving in the Mercedes, qualifies in the top 5, so that's a great job by him. Fissler, the other Red Bull driver, in 6th position. He's followed by Hamish, Nuka, Ycoms, and Cool Cat, rounding out the top 10 in the Caterham. And we've got a return for the driver Krama, who we've seen in other AOR drivers. This is a one-off, I believe, so we're just going to be seeing him for today's race. But great to see a veteran driver making a return to the grid. He'll be starting from 11th ahead of Passes, Nicky FD, Titan of Racing, and Lucas Schumacher will be bringing up the rear in 15th position with no time set. Hello and welcome to the grid, where it is coming down. It's not chucking it down, but there is definitely some moisture in the air. 55% chance of rain, as we saw on that infographic at the bottom left. And we took a quick look at the pole sitter, Marco FD. Here we're on board with Lucas Schumacher at the back. Cool Cat in 10th position, the American. Nuka in 8th in the Williams. Hamish in, I believe, yeah, that was 7th position. Fissler in 6th. There's Double D and Magnussen, the race winner from Canada, starting from the front row of the grid. Nuka going down into lean mix for this start. Of course, everybody on the intermediate tires. We've got 4 lights. We've got 5 lights for this wet British Grand Prix, and the lights are out, and away we go. And it looks like a pretty decent start for at least the top 8. Can't really see what's going on behind, but it looks like a pretty straightforward beginning of this race for just about everyone. Double D having a look up the inside on Honey Badger there, but was not able to complete the move, and now he's going to have to defend the inside. Oh, he's getting swarmed around all sides. Honey Badger just dropping off the face of the earth there. He's lost some positions for sure, down into 7th position. And oh, we've got a car off the circuit as well. I believe that was the other Red Bull of Fissler, if I'm not mistaken, on board with Hamish now as he has Ycoms, the Marusha of Ycoms on his inside. Nuka as well getting past Hamish. Fizzler getting the slipstream, and he's going to move to the left-hand side, drop it down into standard mix as they head into Brooklands now, on board with Cool Cat now up into P8 after starting from P10. So it's been a good start of the race for the American in the Caterham. He's trying to go around the outside here at Luffield, a very, very long right-hand corner, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it. Hamish is going to have the inside line heading into Cops here, and he's going to drop it down into 6th gear, and he leaves room at the exit there, so good job by Hamish leaving some room. Oh, but Cool Cat is still there, actually. I didn't see him when Hamish looked backwards, but Hamish is going to hold on to that position. Meanwhile, up at the front, Marco is just streaking away. 2/10 is the gap between himself and Magnussen, but then a big gap down to Double D in 3rd position, who's already out of DRS range, but of course no DRS in these wet conditions. But a very clean start overall, you have to say, Alex.
Yeah, definitely, and it's still looking very, very close. So we're up on board with Lucas Schumacher here in P14. Just a 10th back from Posters at the last count. Looks like he's lost a little bit in that straight, but a little bit of contact, but generally a fairly clean start. So I don't think we've seen anyone go off completely. Well, no people spinning, people going off the circuit, but nothing major, which is good to see, especially with this field so tight. I mean, in Qualy it was so tight, you'd expect these guys to be racing each other from start to finish. And oh wow, nice move by Honey Badger then. Someone was clean off a circuit ahead there. A little bit of lockup from Magnussen, that's going to cost him a lot of time. Is Double D close enough to capitalise? No, he's not quite close enough. So he manages to maintain the position there, and we'll see if Magnussen, I mean, of course he won the last race, we'll see if Magnussen has got the kind of pace to catch up now to Marco FD, and we'll see if these weather conditions change. 55% chance of rain, which usually means in this game it's going to rain for 55% of the race, and Dashima goes very deep there. Ycoms, nice easy move, but Dashima's still on his inside. He's going to try and squeeze it onto the grass. Very aggressive move there. If he can get good exit, it should be moved down, and there it is. So through goes Dashima there, and Lucas Schumacher, he started at the back, and he's just trying to squeeze past Honey Badger now. I'm not sure if he makes that move stick or not. And Ycoms here is still alongside Dashima, and move done all off a circuit there. It's very easy to do on that corner. You've got to be really, really careful, and you can get penalties if you extend it too much. I know, I don't think I've ever got a penalty there, but I know some people have not been happy. Namely, Onage wasn't very happy with my extending too much there at one point. Surprise there, and run clean off a circuit there, Fissler. Oh, lots of contact, and luckily they both got away with that, but and just 2/100ths of a second between them at the last count there. So, wow. Very aggressive by Nuka there, and probably should have left Fissler a little bit of room, but didn't there. Going down into lean, still side by side. Looks like they've all sorted that out now, Justin.
Yep, and yeah, that was as you mentioned, that was a bit aggressive for sure. Fizzler is still on his left-hand side as we complete the 2nd lap of this race. Ycoms, it should be pointed out, in 5th position, and was briefly up into 4th position before Dashima took that position back. Fizzler now trying to round the outside of turn 2 at Farm, and now he's got the inside line for turn number 3. That's a great move if he can make it stick. He's going to try the switchback now. No, he's just going to hang it around the outside, and Nuka's going to hang on to that position ahead of Fizzler. But yeah, Ycoms started the race in 9th position and was briefly up into 4th there, actually. So a fantastic start for the Marusha driver, the only Marusha in today's race, as actually the championship contender Klawutzke is not present for today's British Grand Prix. On board with Double D right now. He's used about half a bar of Kers so far on this lap. We're on lap number 3, of course, still. It's a pretty decent-sized gap to Magnussen up ahead, and then also a pretty decent-sized gap between Magnussen and Marco FD as well. So the top 3 have spread out quite a bit as we're coming to the end of the 3rd lap. But the biggest gap of all, you have to say, aside from whoever's just making their way around Luffield right now, the biggest gap of all is between 3rd and 4th. In fact, the top 3 already making their way through Stowe, while everybody else is just now coming onto the hanger straight.
Yeah, big gap there. Surprised to see. I mean, although we did see that in Qualy, didn't we? We saw just a 10th covering the top 3, and then about 4/10ths gap back to Double D back in P4. So, although Double D is 3rd, isn't he? I think Double D is in the top 3, but we did see the same sort of gaps.
Yeah, Honey
Qualy,
Badger is the one that dropped out of the top 3. Honey Badger way at the back now.
Yeah, so a little bit strange there, but big gap, and Marco FD is just doing the job he needs to do. He's pulling away a nice gap there, and unfortunately Magnussen just can't quite hold on to made that one mistake and not seem to be able to close the gap for now. We'll see if he can start to close up. And Marco FD, in fact, does do a purple lap there, fastest of anyone. And,
and another deep moment.
Wow, they're side by side, but no, Double D just can't. I think he probably has to take too much of a tight line there, so he wasn't able to get the power down on the exit. So Magnussen needs to stop making those mistakes. That's twice at the same corner, isn't it? He's just pushed off the track there. Cool Cat just got pushed off by Fizzler, and Hamish says thank you very much on Cool Cat. Not quite there on Fizzler though, but Hamish, he started P7, so he's actually still lost a position, so not a great start by Hamish at all. And Fizzler runs a bit deep there, and Hamish once again says thank you very much, I'll capitalise on those mistakes. And that's 2 positions now in this series of only 2 or 3 corners there. For Hamish, he'll certainly take that. And Fizzler now getting attacked by Cool Cat once again, and there's been a bit of contact and not been in touch. Oh wow, you can't turn it on someone when he's up inside there, Fizzler. That didn't quite work out, and a bit of contact with Titan as well then. That was a bit of a strange move. I mean, he clearly knew that Cool Cat was up his inside. Oh, nice big cut there as well. And again, going to go for 3. No, he's going to keep it clean on the third. And not quite exit by Cool Cat here though, so we'll see if Fizzler can get the move done. Oh, bit of lag there though. Bit of lag, and that's going to enable Fizzler to get the move done nice and easily. Up into P8 for Fizzler there.
No surprise that the American is the one that is having some connection issues. That is to be expected, of course, as he's quite a bit further away from everybody else. But here's a replay of the start of this race. You have to say it looks quite a bit drier actually at the start compared to what we were just seeing on lap 4 there. But go ahead and talk us through this.
Yeah, so we're on board Magnussen here now, and just gets a little tap from the outside by Honey Badger there, but mostly a clean start as Barani breaks to the next corner. We assume he does. Ycoms here back in P8 at the minute, and lots of cars ahead of him there. Absolute mayhem. Where do you go? Left, right, in the middle? I think he's gone for the middle here. He's kind of playing it safe. Fizzler runs right out wide there. Bit of curve for Ycoms. Someone just spun, but a big issue. I think he did spin actually on the inside there. I'm not sure who it was. Cool Cat now in the caterham. And is it him that spins? I think it might.
No, Honey Badger.
Oh, it's Honey Badger that spins, of course. That's why he's at the back. A little bit unfortunate for Cool Cat there. He just gets caught up in the spin and takes it very easily inside there. Fair play to him. Didn't want to push any drivers out. So compromised himself quite heavily. Lost quite a few positions there because of it. Fizzler here. Oh, wow. That's about as aggressive as you can get in this game. And, they just then go deep, though. So I think he might have got a bit of a tap there, actually, from behind. But I think a bit of karma, really. He was very, very aggressive there. So I think that's pretty fair. Now towards the end of the lap, we're on board with Hamish up in P8. And there's lots of lag. I don't know if it's like that on his screen or whether that's just the recording that's lagging, but a bit of an issue there, bit too much wheel spin, and ends up taking a very long way around that last corner. We're now back on board live. Magnussen is 2 seconds behind Marco, and he's now pulled out a 1.6 second gap to Double D. So, well, by the looks of that, it looks like Magnussen's got some pretty decent pace. He must have lost, well, probably at least 2 seconds with the mistakes he's made, I'd think. So it looks like he's got some pretty decent pace. We'll see if he can now hopefully keep it clean and see if he can catch up to Marco at all. And Lucas Schumacher then half a second back from Kramer. Down to P13 and 15, so he'll be able to come up a little bit. Of course, he did start P15, so he's got a couple of positions. Got Possis behind him. He started P12, and very deep by Kramer. That is incredibly deep. Leaves lots of room there, so fair play to him. He could have just come straight back to the racing line there, but he leaves lots and lots of room for Lucas Schumacher just to take that position. So up to P12 now for Lucas Schumacher.
Good on Kramer there. You know, when you're filling in for somebody, when you're coming in for a one-off race, you really don't want to be affecting anybody. You know, you can battle side by side, you can overtake. By all means, please do overtake Kramer, but certainly you don't want to be affecting anybody's race, ruining anybody's race or anything like that. And Kramer seems to be taking that philosophy to heart, and we do appreciate that. So again, on board with Hamish, and again, I just have to say it does look quite a bit wetter than it did at the beginning of the race. That may just be because he's running in the dirty air of Nuka here, but it does seem quite a bit wetter. Everybody's still on the intermediate tires and showing no signs of needing to come in for the full wets, no sort of standing water on the track or anything like that. It's smooth sailing for Marco FD. No pun intended with the rain coming down, but it's looking pretty good for him. He's got lots of curves actually, and he is going to drain those curves down the hanger straight here and saving just a little squirt that he can use coming out of the final corner, I assume. Taking a bit of the karting line there through Stowe, which is actually not the fastest way in F1 2013. I'm sure he would have preferred to hit the apex there, but Lucas Schumacher now has to keep his eye on Possis behind the McLaren driver, sizing him up for an overtake here with the slipstream down the hanger straight, moves to the left-hand side. Lucas Schumacher defending the inside line, heading into Stowe, and it looks like he is going to get the job done. Possis moves ahead of Lucas Schumacher, just outside of a points-paying position. Now we've got a couple cars in the pits, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what that is. I hope we'll see as we go past here, but that was a pretty decent move by Possis there around the outside. He already had a pretty good pace, And we see now it's Fissler and Nooker into the pits, so they're going to... Oh, it's another set of intermediate. I thought it was slicked for a second then. I was going to say that's a bit of a shock. Another set of inters, so they're burning up these inters pretty fast, only lap 7. I didn't actually see anyone's tyre wear indicator, but presumably they must have been pretty worn. And Kramer did. I'm not sure if he might have even quit there with his big mistake. But certainly he's not in the race anymore, so a bit of a shame to see that. I raced against Kramer, I believe, in the past, so a bit of a shame to see him out of the race so early on. But so new set of inters then. Oh, that was a bit naughty there, coming straight across the racing line, especially as there's another car coming and he's up his inside. You've got to leave room there, Fissler. I think that's the second time Fissler's done that, just trying to turn in on people. It's not ideal. You certainly need to leave some room when they're alongside you. You need to leave at least the car's width.
And I think it was on Cool Cat
was it
as
Cool
well.
Cat?
Yeah, I think so.
That's amazing. But yeah, so quite early pit stop then. Lap 7. We'll see if the leaders follow them in. But as you said, it is looking very at 1.3 seconds up on his previous lap. Purple lap. And that just shows massively inconsistent. And Magnussen needs to work on his consistency. He looks like he's certainly got the pace, but a little bit inconsistent. Marco FD. Oh, nice smart move there by Marco, feigning an entry into the pits to try and make Magnussen pit. Deciding to stay out. I like that. I like that. Bit of gamesmanship. Looks like Double D does pit behind those. He's going to go for a brand new set of intermediates.
Nick, I'm coming in this
he
lap.
was about 2.3.
Deshima pits as well.
Okay, I think Double D was about 2.3 behind Magnussen, so we'll see how much he can gain in the single lap. Looking on the right hand side there, Ycoms, the front left is really quite worn, and I think this lap will be the lap they have to pit. I'd be amazed if anyone stays out any further, because that is a lot of wear, and that you can see it already in the first corner, just affecting you quite heavily. And it's not quite gone off the edge of the cliff yet, but it will do very soon. So I expect to see all the drivers in just at the end of this lap.
Yep, Deshima's in. Hamish has put on another set of the intermediate tires as well. Having a look at Ycoms on the left-hand side. Lucas Schumacher into the pits for another set of the intermediates as well for him. And where is he going to feed out? He's got a car that's already gone by on the left. He's got 2 more coming on the left-hand side. Can he challenge any of these cars coming out of the pits here? He's going to have to defend the inside line, or he's not going to defend the inside line. And unfortunately, I think that might lose him a position. He's going to get the inside line, though, for turn number 4 here, which is preferred for sure. Don't want to be going around the outside there. And he's got 2 cars right behind him. Cool Cat looking like the main issue at the moment, but no problems for him as he comes onto the straight. And on board with Nuka. I'm not sure if it's Nuka or Nuka, to be totally honest. The double K makes me want to say Nuka, but if you're watching this, please make sure you tell us how to pronounce your name properly so we don't do anything embarrassing or anything like that. Back on board with Marco, and he is going to pit this time, so you were right about that one, Alex, when you said lap 8.
Look at the right side. His tyre wear, despite having done a whole extra lap,
not nearly as bad.
Not as bad. No, so he probably could have even got away with another lap again. So Marco there, very easy on his tyres, which is easy said than done around Silverstone. So he's doing a good job there. But elected a bit, presumably for another set of the intermediates. Yes, indeed he does. And you'd assume he comes out ahead of Magnussen there, which he doesn't indeed. But Magnussen is right behind him. Magnussen has done a great job on that in-lap. I didn't see Magnussen's tyre wear, but presumably he has still had a fair amount of tyre wear left as well. On the left-hand side, we're seeing Hamish having a little look at Fissler here. He's going to dive inside. No, you can't. You're not braking very much, and most of your braking in that corner is trail braking, so you're not doing a lot of braking into that corner, so I'm not surprised he didn't decide to dive inside there. And we're seeing Ycoms now come out the pit, so he's currently in P4. This could be pretty tasty with Ycoms. I think he might be battling people on the pit exit, and on board with Hamish struggling with oversteer there. And that's also going to burn your rear tyres up a little bit if you're doing that a lot. But mind you, that doesn't really matter. You don't really have to worry about your rear tyres at Silverstone.
There he is.
And there's that Ycoms. Yes, it is indeed.
Oh!
Wow. Hamish managed to get past that. And he's diving up the inside of Fissler. Oh, wow. That was close. I think he decided, after he hit the brakes, he probably decided he wanted to back out of it. But it's easy said than done when you're already hard on the brakes. But luckily, he managed to avoid Fissler there and avoid the incident. But so Ycoms just behind them on brand new inters, because his tyres are 1 or 2 laps newer than Hamish. Hamish pit a couple of laps ago, I believe, didn't he? So. And Double D now up into P3, or still in P3 rather, I should say. 1.1 seconds back from Magnussen, so he's gained over a second by pitting 1 lap earlier than Magnussen there. But of course that is now going to cost him for the rest of the stint, so we'll see how that plays out. But a whole second gain just by pitting 1 lap earlier, so that's quite a lot of time to gain there, isn't it, Justin?
Yep, and you have to say, by the way, we were previously critical of Hamish for staying out too long, actually. And this time we're actually seeing him coming in before other people even. So I'm not sure if he's taking that to heart or if he just kind of figured that one out himself. Oh, man, Fissler is getting very aggressive with that Beckett section. Hamish now sizing him up for an overtake. He's in the slipstream. He's gotten a fantastic exit using the rest of his curves. He's going to go to the left-hand side. Fizzler's going to have to leave him room. Hamish is going to try and go around the outside at Stowe. There's been contact between the two of them. Hamish gets bumped off the circuit. He picks up some understeer. Ycoms not really sure what to do. Just kind of lays onto the brakes. Titan of Racing now coming from the right-hand side, trying to attack Ycoms here. He's going to have to leave space at the inside of this penultimate corner. They're going to be side-by-side through the final corner. Hamish is now pulling away from the two of them as they're side-by-side through a couple of corners here. Ycoms appears to have... Oh my gosh, yes, he does. He defends that position from Titan of Racing successfully and holds on to that 8th place position, even though he lost some time to Hamish up ahead as a result of that. On board with Lucas Schumacher at the moment. Worth pointing out, Nicky FD in 14th position. We haven't really mentioned him. I think something happened to him. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast that somebody was, way behind at Luffield while everyone else was going through the hangar straight in Stowe, and I'm assuming now that is Nicky FD, who possibly had some sort of incident in the opening laps. Marco FD, though, looking pretty good for him. Magnussen was very, very close as they were coming out of the pits, but it does look like Marco has managed to keep that gap at a sensible size behind him to the McLaren. And on the topic of the McLarens, you really have to say they've really showed. I mean, I think McLaren possibly is the most improved team that we've seen this season. I think they didn't score in Australia. They didn't score in Malaysia, and I don't think they scored very well in China either. And then all of a sudden, they're just, I think it was Spain was really the start of it, but they're putting in some fantastic results, and it's great to see them up in the podium positions. Fizzler under attack from Hamish once again through Stowe, hangs it around the outside, defends that position as they head into the final couple of corners. Marco FD starting the 11th lap of this race as we're rapidly approaching the halfway point. And as you said, Alex, 55% chance of rain typically means 55% rain for the race, and it's been raining all of this time. So you have to assume that probably around lap 14 or 15, we're going to see this rain easing up.
Yes, I expect so. Yeah, so 50. Yeah, like you said, 14, 15ish, probably somewhere around there. It's a little bit odd that system, but at least it gives you an idea of how much is going to rain. So I'm expecting to see these guys on slick tires by the end of the race, but that's the crucial switch over point is when do you switch. Now, if we're expecting it, so 13 is halfway, 40, so probably lap 14 it will stop raining. We're ready for slips by about lap 16 or so. So the guys that have really extended their stints, I'm thinking Marco and Magnussen.
Pit on lap 8.
Double D, he's pitted one lap early, lap 7. He should be okay if he can stretch out a little longer. Hamish falling very wide there. But if they can do 8 lap stints, that will put them to lap 16. They should just about be able to stretch it so that they go straight to the slick tyres. The rest of these guys that pitted earlier, lap 7, pushing it, lap 6, I think they're going to have to pit again for another set of inters, or they're going to try and stay out and just lose a load of time. So it's looking like it could well be an inspired decision by Marco and Magnussen. Whether it was planned or not, I'm not too sure. Of course, I'm sure they know what I know in that 55% usually means ready 55. Oh, Marco, big lock
uncharacteristic mistake.
Uncharacteristic mistake from Marco, absolutely. He was looking pretty good up to that point. He's lost a load of time. Magnussen's all over him now. Is he going to be able to make the overtake? He's going to have a look on the outside, is he? Yes, he is. Right off the circuit. Oh, got auto brake there, unfortunately, but fair enough. He was right off the circuit. But I tell you what, though, Justin, that could be a good battle now. There is now no gap between them. If Magnussen can keep it consistent, I think we could have a race-long battle brewing here. And Ycoms running very deep, nicely outbraking his rival there. Working really, really nicely. I think this is Titan Racing. I think it was Titan Racing. Yeah, so that was a really nice move there. Just used all the track. But luckily, by the time he got to the edge of the track, he wasn't no longer alongside Titan Racing. So really nice move there. And keeping it, sound like he kept it more or less flat for the first turn. So pretty good there, keeping it flat. Double D losing a bit of time here. He was only a second back when he came out of the pits. I think he might have made a mistake because his fastest lap was only a 10th down on Magnussen's, but suddenly he was 3 seconds back. So I think Double D must have made some sort of mistake that we didn't see on the screen. And that certainly is a mistake. There's another one for you, and a bit of a strange one there. Usually you can catch the oversteer, but I think he must have got on the brakes there or something strange happened. They just almost sent him to the gravel, but he's much deep by the gravel, but he's probably lost at least a second now, I'd imagine. And Lucas Schumacher back in P12, 2.2 seconds back from Possis. And I'm not sure when did Lucas Schumacher pit, Justin? Do you know? You got any idea?
I think he was one of the later pitters. I think he pitted around lap 8.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not too sure who pitted lap 8, but the drivers that did pit lap 8, as I mentioned previously, could be in with a good shout here, as opposed to the drivers who pitted slightly early. So even though you only just praised Hamish for pitting early, I think actually in this race it could be his undoing. So Hamish is struggling with strategy if it plays out like that. I mean, we're yet to see it yet, but if it does play out like that, then poor Hamish. But Hamish
and Fizzler is going to come into the pits. He just selected intermediate tires anyway, and it's lap 12. So yeah, he might be trying to do 3 intermediate stints before the rain stops.
Oh, he's alongside Hamish though, so he's not going to be able to. Even if he wanted to, he's alongside Hamish, so he wouldn't have been able to get to the pits without slamming on the brakes. And I think it's one of those things. Of course, you don't want to pit on lap 14 if it's dry on lap 16. That's a waste of tyres. You want to pit if you know you're not going to make it. You want to pit now and get 3 or 4 laps out your tyres before you have to pit. You don't want to be doing 1 or 2 laps on a set of tyres. So
yeah,
if the guys, I mean, I don't know, I haven't heard any engineers. Often the engineers say the rain's stopping in 10 minutes and stuff, don't they? So I'm not sure if they've said that or whatnot. I have not heard anything.
I have not either.
I think if it does stop, if it is ready for slicks lap 16, 17 as we're sort of expecting, then I think now, if you don't think you're going to make it, now would be a good time to pit. But I've not seen anyone's tyre wear indicator, unfortunately, to know. I mean, the tyres will hold up slightly better in this stint as they did in the previous stint, so they might be able to make it stretch. But the thing is, you need to not understeer. If you turn the wheel too much in these high-speed corners and start understeering, that's when you really, really burn the front tyres. So you need to be really careful at Silverstone in particular. So we'll see who's better at tyre life, and you see that Whistler, it's already telling him to pit. He's already slightly starting to struggle with front left there. So I think he could do a pitting very soon. But again, it might stay wet for quite a while. We might not be ready for slicks until lap 2021. So the weather is always such an unknown, particularly in this game. It could be completely unknown. So we'll see. A bit of contact there, but Hamish managed to stay ahead just about. So let's just see if Whistler should. He's been told to pit. Will he pit? This is very interesting now. If it was me, it depends what the engineers said. If it was me, I'd probably pit. Knowing what I know now, I would probably pit. Is he pitting? Yes, he is.
He does.
Yes, he is. So even though he's back at having to make the extra stop, he's going to get great use out of these inter tyres. Assuming it stops when we think it's going to, and that's Titan of Racing behind him. I think.
Yep.
This car's on his outside. It is Titan. Is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Titan Racing. Kept changing over the cars on the outside. So, well, we'll see how this plays out now. And is it not raining already? Or is that just because it's in the pits?
Right, yeah, I was just noticing that myself as well. No, I'm seeing the drops again.
There's
okay,
a few drops, but it's not on his screen. Whether that's just because it's in the pits, I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see on that one, Justin.
Yep, and we've been talking about how Magnussen, of course, won the Canadian Grand Prix last time out, and that was in changeable conditions, so I guess we shouldn't be too surprised to see him right up here with Marco as we're past the halfway point of this race now, actually, and he's just a couple of seconds behind him. He's perhaps overshadowing the fantastic performance that Titan of Racing actually put in as well in Canada, finishing in second position, his first podium, and only the second race that he's actually scored points in. So Titan of Racing showing a improvement of form in the as we progress through this season. He had a fantastic race in Canada. He's in a points-paying position right now. He's certainly not up at the front with these guys, but he's definitely in a points-paying position. And I don't know if it's some sort of mod or something like that, but it just seems a lot drier when you're on board with Marco. Maybe because he's one of the few cars not getting any sort of spray ahead or something like that, but it definitely seems a lot drier on board with him.
Yeah, there's no rain on the screen, which usually means it is drying up, because the rain on the screen can usually means it's sort of getting wetter. It's not an exact science, but it's roughly that's sort of what it means. So the fact there's no rain on the screen shows that even though there's a few drops around it, I expect it is now drying up. And what we do need to see is temperature. Although spray is again, it's hard for me to remember. It's been so long since I've raced. But spray used to be a good indicator in that as soon as it stopped spraying, usually the other way around, when it starts spraying from your tyres, even on slicks, that's when it's usually about time to change because you start to get spray and it's ready. It's the crossover point. Whether that happens the other way around, once you stop getting spray, it might already be too late actually. So yes, I'm not. Again, it's hard for me to remember.
And Lucas goes under the primes.
That's very early. That's very, very early. Now let's see if he locks up into this corner. He managed to get it slowed down.
Yeah,
he got it slowed down.
And actually, I'm sorry. That's Nuka. Yeah, I apologize. I thought that was Titan of Racing. I apologize. But yeah, that is Nuka. Yeah, and he is on those prime tires, and he did make the corner, and he's got DRS, so DRS is activated. I missed whenever that happened. He's in lean mix at the moment on optimal fuel, as well as I'm not sure if he really thinks he can attack the cars ahead of him or not. He's got two cars very close behind him though as he heads into Luffield. And using a bit of KERS now, and yeah, I'm not. I think that may have been a decent call.
Yeah,
he doesn't seem faster.
Yeah,
this is it.
It's not faster yet, but this is the lap. Now everyone needs to pit this lap. This is it. This is the crossover point right now. And as you said, it's not quite faster right now, but it's not massively slower. So it's
similar.
Yeah, I mean he's losing probably a couple of tenths per sector, but give it half a lap or a lap, and he'll be faster. In fact, hello, look at this.
Look
at this.
Holy cow.
I think Fizzler must have had a back.
And Fizzler's got DRS! He's got his DRS open! And Nuka just came right up behind him. That was pretty incredible. I mean, that was fantastic. I mean, he's right up on the back of Fizzler now. Let's see as they begin another lap. As Honey Badger behind went very deep into that corner. You could just see by the indicator that was on his screen there. Ycoms coming out of the pits now right behind Hamish. He's on the prime tires. It looks like Hamish is on the prime tires as well, if my eyes do not deceive me. He's going to come out of the pits right behind Honey Badger, but no, Honey Badger is actually going to get ahead of Hamish. So the Red Bull Toro Rosso battling continues here. Nuka now sizing up Fizzler for an overtake here as we come onto the straight. DRS activation point is there. He's got the DRS wide open. He's not using any of his curves. Now he's using some curves, keeping it in standard mix, and he's going to move up the inside. And he's actually purple in Sector 1 with the assistance of DRS. But, yeah, this is definitely prime tire time now. Yeah, Dashima's still out there on the intermediate tires, and just look how fast Marco gets by him like he was standing still.
Yeah, it definitely was a point now. I just want to... Why did Fizzler not pit? You see a guy behind you who's clearly at least able to keep with you, if not slightly faster, on the prime tyres. Why did you not switch to prime tyres at that point? You can see that it's at least going to be as fast, if not faster. And yeah, look at that. Look at that. Wow, a lot more grip now. And by the way, Justin, what lap is it? Lap 16, exactly as I predicted. That's apparently my head is still well in the weather game of F1 2013, because I just predicted the lap, like, what, 3-4 laps before it actually happened? So that's quite amazing. But
and Fizzler is going to pit.
Did he just select the inters?
No, he selected primes.
He did?
I do believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought he
so
selected the inters.
I believe all of these guys are... I mean, Fizzler should have no problem doing 10 laps on a set of the prime tires, I believe. But everybody else is going to be doing closer to 12 laps. I think the earliest stop was on at the end of lap 14. 12 laps on a set of primes at Silverstone. I mean, does rubber even get put down in these types of conditions? Is the track rubbered in?
I'm not too sure, actually. I think it would eventually, but I think it has to dry out first, perhaps. I mean, I'm sort of guessing. I'm not really entirely sure, but bit of a lock on Fizzler there. Bit of contact with Hamish. Not entirely clean. Leaves him plenty of room, though, and lets him back pass. So, fair play to him there. Made his mistake, and then let... oh, it's Honey Badger there, not Hamish. I think... Yeah. No, there's Hamish. What? I'm really confused.
Hamish.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
The names are all over the place.
Yeah, I can't remember who that was, but the Marusha there just made a position as well off the back of that move. And WD, so he's still in P3 then, so the top three have actually remained the same. Look on the minimap though, look on the minimap, look how close Magnussen is to Marco, so he's been with him all race, and I think he might hopefully be able to find a bit more consistency now it's nice and dry for him, and possibly might be able to put a move on Marco to make it 2 wins in a row. Of course, he won last time out in Canada, so I think we're in for a spicy last 9 laps of this race, Justin. As you said, it shouldn't be a big issue to make the tyres last, but it's Silverstone. As I mentioned previously, if you understeer a lot, the tyres aren't going to last. You do still need to look after them in the high-speed corners. So I think you will be able to burn up a set of prize, but I think if you look after them well enough, you shouldn't have too much of an issue. Honey Badger diving up the inside there. What a move. Much later breaker than Nuka there. Really impressive stuff. That was really well done as Marco there. Get confirmation of his purple lap, 30.1. And that was a good lap from Honey Badger. Now up to P4 then. So he suffered quite a bad start, didn't he, with that spin. That back down to... I don't even know where he's back down to. Probably back down to P10 or something. I think. Was it? So back up to P4. So showing really good pace there for Honey Badger. Once again, impressing, well, at least me. I don't know if he's impressing you as well, Justin, but yeah, looking like a seriously good job. Lucas Schumacher as well, just hanging into the points there, starting P15, so he's gained 5 positions as well. 3.2 seconds off Boss's head, so let's see if we can catch him as well for a few extra points. And looking at the minimap, it's getting quite spicy ahead of him as well. There's 5 cars in quite close company, so I don't think... Oh, someone disconnects there.
Passes.
Oh yeah, Posses, there it is, the name. I was trying to look for the name in amongst the German.
I knew you were. I knew you were.
And yeah, unfortunately Posses disconnects there, so it's now 5 becomes 4. And Double D -1 of fuel, so you'll have to manage fuel to the end. And I expect, looking on the size of the gaps ahead of him on the mini-map, I expect P3 is pretty much set for Double D there. And,
look at and the gap behind as well. I mean, the other cars behind him are just making their way through Cops, or just out of Cops, heading into Maggots Beckett's now. So I mean, yeah, it looks like a lonely race for Double D.
Yeah, absolutely, quite a long way back, and I'm back on with Hamish now. And one thing that's worth noting actually is that let's not forget in this game, lower frame rate does give you better grip. And presuming, I mean, this frame rate probably will be what he's seeing, so he is actually getting better grip than the other ones. I just want to point that out. And although, let's be honest, I wouldn't be able to drive with this frame rate because it's terrible.
I certainly wouldn't.
No, so I mean, he's sort of advantage in some ways and disadvantage in other ways. So it's sort of, I mean, obviously Marco's running 60 FPS and he's winning and Hamish isn't. So clearly it's not a big advantage. But look, he managed to put a move on Nuka there. Hamish now up to P5. And will he go and try and hunt down now? I think it's Honey Badger, wasn't it? Just went up to P5.
Yep.
Let's see if Hamish has got the pace to try and hunt down Honey Badger and take P4. But I think the podium is now going to be out of reach. And Honey Badger, nice lap, almost a second up on Marco's previous best lap. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's still drying out though. So that, I mean, Marco might just put in 29.3 or something. I'm not too sure. But still a very impressive lap by Honey Badger there. He's certainly got the pace. And look at the gap he's already put on Nooker actually. It was only last lap he overtook him. And he's already a good couple of seconds ahead. So pretty impressive pace by Honey Badger there. Shame he had that spin at the beginning of the race. Otherwise we could have even seen him on the podium perhaps this race.
And on board with Lucas Schumacher, who has been promoted up into 9th position because of Passus's disconnect. Cool Cat as well being promoted into a points-paying position, or a points-paying position, I should say. On board now with the second place man, the winner of the Canadian Grand Prix, 6th winner that we've had so far this season out of the 7 races that we've run so far. It's looking like it's between these two guys, though. Marco FD has won 2 races so far this season. Magnussen has only won 1, but it looks like one of these 2 guys is going to be increasing their tally. A 129.2 from Magnussen, so matching Honey Badger's time from the second place McLaren driver. Ycoms having a look at Nuka at the inside of Stowe. He's going to have to try and go. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Nico's hit me. Very, very slight contact with the front wing and the rear wheel, but everything looks to be okay. Ycoms, though, is just harassing him. So it does look like Nuka is kind of dropping off. He may have sort of made the right calls when it comes to strategy, and that may have put him into that 5th place position. But it does seem that the raw pace of the cars around him is causing him to drop back ever so slightly. Fissler just outside of the points, unfortunately, but and with a pretty big, that's a heck of a corner cut. That's one way to get closer to Cool Cat for sure. But yeah, big gap to Cool Cat up ahead, who's already headed into turn 1. 4 seconds is the gap between himself and the Caterham up ahead, and that's another very, very interesting line heading into turn 1. And
I love the diplomatic ways that you love calling us, by the way. Interesting line. There's been a couple others you've used in this race that made me smile as well. It's very, very diplomatic of you, Justin. I like it.
Yeah, I do my best. I try to be polite about it. So Marco, though, looking pretty good still for him. Interesting to point out, when we were last on board with Marco, I did notice that he was actually doing some fuel saving. So I'm not sure how concerned Marco FD actually is at the moment. I think he may just be controlling this race at this point. I mean, he's got Magnussen just outside of the DRS range. We're on the 21st lap, so there's 5 more laps to go after he finishes that one. And he's got Magnussen just outside. He's been doing some fuel saving. We know he's been doing some fuel saving. So I think he may just be kind of saving his tires, saving his fuel for a possible end-of-race battle if he absolutely needs to. Hamish is clearly pushing quite hard, 3.6 seconds behind the Red Bull of Honey Badger up ahead for him as he's heading into the arena now. And he's got a pretty big gap to Nuka, as we were pointing out. Nuka just kind of dropping off a little bit. He is still holding on to that 6th place position, though, so he hasn't lost any further positions, despite Ycoms just flying up behind him. He has managed to hang on to that position for right now, but I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be able to do that.
Wasn't this gap a couple of seconds last time we saw it?
Yeah, 2.2 seconds was the gap, and now he's actually not just within DRS range, he's getting the slipstream, the DRS, no curves remaining. He's going to move to the right-hand side, grabs the inside line, heading into Stowe. Marco FD looks like he's going to lose the position unless he can hang it around the outside. He tries so hard, but just cannot fend off the McLaren of Magnussen. That he takes the lead of this race. At the end of lap 21, 5 laps remaining in this race. Marco is still in it for sure. He's right behind him, all up in those mirrors, but we've definitely got a battle on for the lead of this race, which is great to see.
Yeah, I just want to point out that there's obviously a gap glitch going on there. As Magnussen was right behind Marco there, it said 1.8 seconds, so there's some sort of
interesting.
Gap glitch going on.
That's something I'm familiar with, is gap glitches, so we'll have to keep that in consideration. So for people that are maybe unfamiliar with F1 2013 or just not F1 2013 online racing, there is such a thing as a glitch when it comes to the gaps. So we can no longer trust the gaps. We're going to see it here. Yeah, 0.9 seconds to Marco. Actually, that might be accurate. I'm not sure. Oh, a big lockup, though, and going very deep for Magnussen is going to put him under pressure through Luffield from Marco FD. Marco's got some curves to use, but he's not using any of it, actually. That's very interesting. I don't blame him for not wanting to go side-by-side through Stowe, though, through Copse, to be totally honest. So I'm not totally shocked that he didn't use his curves there to try and pull alongside. Oh, yes, he is sizing him up through the Maggots Beckett section. And is he going to? It looks like he's going for a great exit out of this corner. He has gotten a good exit, but Magnussen has really nailed that section. He's using the rest of his curves. He's got the DRS open, using the slipstream. Magnussen defends the inside line, and once again, they are side by side through Stowe. And once again, Marco FD is at the outside, and this time he makes it work and retake.
Wow. He has some great grip there. I was thinking he's not going to make this apex, and he just turned it in, it just gripped. I mean, he must be running quite high wings, I think, because he had some serious grip going through there. Really nice move by Marco there on the outside of Magnussen. That's an impressive move. And I don't think Magnussen will take that one lying down. 3 laps left to go. I think he'll fancy having another go at Marco here.
Yep, and Double D now coming to the end of his lap. And actually, Honey Badger is catching him. Less than 7 seconds was the gap between himself and the Red Bull driver in 4th position. So he does have to make sure that he doesn't make any sort of large mistakes for sure. Let's see, we're going to see another split, 6.2 seconds. So he does need to keep it clean, keep it on the road, make sure he doesn't spin or anything like that. After completing this lap, there will be only 3 laps remaining. So Honey Badger would have to be 2 seconds a lap faster than Double D, or slightly less than that, maybe 1.5 seconds a lap faster or so to get within that DRS range before the end of this race. But certainly that I won't discount that from possibly happening. Ycoms, meanwhile, did manage to get by Nuka, and he's dropped down into 7th position. Dashima now is the car behind the new driver in the Mercedes. I'm not sure if he was within DRS range as they came onto that straight. Marco FD still having to defend from Magnussen. Here we go once again down the hanger straight. Are we going to be side by side for a 3rd lap in a row? Marco, oh my gosh, that was an interesting choice. Magnussen going around the outside just like Marco did on the lap prior, but Marco actually able to hang it at the inside. Magnussen braking as late as he can, not quite as late as Marco. Marco actually does manage to go around the outside at turn 16. That's incredible. Gets the inside line for the 2 final corners and retakes the lead. Magnussen, though, in the slipstream, having a look at the inside, can't quite make any sort of overtakes there, but I think he might just be holding off and looking to get the DRS, which he has most certainly done as they cross the DRS detection line. And here comes the DRS activation line. Nice couple of corners for Marco. Magnussen seemingly struggling in the dirty air a little bit there. He's got the DRS wing open now, and he's in the slipstream as well. He's gonna drop it down into lean and do a bit of fuel saving. He's on optimal. Did you by chance see what fuel level Marco was on?
Oh, I didn't manage to catch it, no, but actually it looks like Magnussen's flicking over to +1, so he's got quite a bit of rich actually left to go. And one thing that sprung into my mind when Magnussen went on the outside of Marco there was anything you could do, I could do better. That's what it felt like. He had a choice in the inside line. He thought, no, I want to prove that I could do just what you did last lap. I want to go on the outside, and he actually managed it. But of course, Marco then one-upped it once again by going on the outside into an even trickier corner. So yeah, I think that it's showboated almost going on for the lead there.
Worth pointing out, by the way, right as we cut away from Magnussen there, it showed his KERS is offline, which would be an absolute disappointment for the end of this race. With less than 3 laps remaining, that would be robbing us of a fantastic battle that's been going on since lap 20 or 21 or so. So I really hope that gets sorted out as quickly as possible. But next time we go on board with Magnussen, we'll make sure to have a look and see if that KERS issue has been fixed. Lucas Schumacher still running around in 9th position with Coolcat behind him in 10th position. Dashima quite a ways up the road in 8th position. And interestingly enough, actually, after Ycoms took that P6 from Nuka, it seems Nuka's actually stuck with him. You can see them heading down the hanger straight towards Stowe right now. Very close between the two of them. And there we see at the bottom right, Magnussen's KERS still offline. Very unfortunate. I think the DRS is going to be just enough to keep him within striking distance of Marco FD, but without the KERS, is he going to be able to do it? He's gotten a great run down the straight. He's got the inside line heading into Brooklands. Marco hangs it around at the outside of the corner. That's going to give him the inside line, though, for Luffield. Magnussen trying the switchback. Very late apex. The latest of apexes for Magnussen there, but unfortunately it hasn't really done him too much good. Marco FD, with the benefit of that KERS, is going to hold on to that first place position as we're coming very close now to the end of this penultimate lap.
One thing just to note, Justin, the KERS still works. Unfortunately, we can't quite see the steering wheel on board.
I remember that.
But the KERS does. If you could see the steering wheel display, the KERS still works. Even though it says it's offline, actually it's not, and it still works. So providing Magnussen knows that, it's not an issue. But if he doesn't know that and he's trying not to use it, perhaps it might be an issue. And here we go. He's going to go on the outside again. Yes, we're going to get another move on the outside here. And Marco FD squeezing in there. Is he going to be able to pull it off this time? Well, he's still alongside him, but he's not pulled it off. Can Marco do the same thing he did last time and go on the outside of this corner? Looks like he's been able to. And wow, yes, late braking there, managed to just almost take his apex. So pretty impressive stuff from Marco there. But they're coming into the final lap then. This certainly isn't over, Justin. I think, wow. Who's your money on for the win? Could be anyone. Could be anyone.
I'm going with Marco on this one, to be totally honest. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, Magnussen is in the DRS range. He's right behind. It's the final lap of the race. If he makes the overtake here, Marco is going to have very little time to try and react to it. So we can see them actually going through the arena on the mini-map at the bottom left right now. Here they come across to the DRS activation line, and I wonder what's going to happen here. Ycoms, as I mentioned, still has Nuka right behind him as they're coming to the end of the penultimate lap now. So Ycoms was able to take that P6, but unfortunately has not been able to break away from the Williams driver behind him. And I think, yeah, he is within DRS range, less than a second between the two of them. And Ycoms is going to have to be careful about that as we do a bit of time travel and find out what happened with Marco and Magnussen here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Actually, no, nothing happened with them. Magnussen was not able to make the overtake on that first DRS straight. He's got one more opportunity, though. Marco has saved quite a bit of curves, but look how close Magnussen is coming out of the Maggots-Beckett's complex. Marco, I imagine, is going to be staying to the right-hand side, drains the rest of his curves. There is Magnussen in the slipstream with the DRS open. He's going to have to try and go around the outside at Stowe, as they have done previously. Marco goes a little bit deep. Magnussen with the cutback. He's going to get a great exit. He's then going to have to go around the outside. Marco's been very good on the brakes into this corner, though. Magnussen squeezes him through the penultimate corner. They go. Can Marco make the switchback? No, he can't. Magnussen is going to take his second win in a row. Fantastic drive from Magnussen. Unfortunate for Marco FD after leading the race for most of the time there. Hamish as well is going to take fourth position on the final lap of this race. No surprise, Double D going to come home in third position in what was a very lonely race for the Ferrari driver as he comes across the line, and he seems pretty happy about, I mean, Double D should be thrilled about just finishing races with all the problems he's had this season. Hamish, meanwhile, going to cross the line in fourth position ahead of his sister teammate, Honey Badger in the Red Bull, coming home in fifth position.
Honey Badger's tyres might have died, actually. He was a long way off Hamish. I think he must have pushed too hard, and his tyres were completely dead on that last lap, because he lost quite a few seconds in that last, well, he lost at least a second in that last sector alone, so I think Honey Badger must have just completely destroyed his tyres getting into that race.
Yep, yeah, I think so. And Lucas is going to come home and pick up a couple of points in ninth position. Good drive for him. Cool Cat grabbing the final championship point in 10th position. Fizzler, unfortunately, just outside of the points for him, and actually not that far behind Cool Cat either. He's just going to head straight into the wall. So here's the replay of the last lap action. Go ahead, talk us through this out.
Yeah, so Marco runs very wide there, and he gets auto brake, which allows Magnussen around the outside. He just massively squeezes him there. A little bit naughty, and Marco gets a bit of oversteer from that. Lots of oversteer from that, in fact, which is what enabled Magnussen's hit a nice, easy win there. But yeah, a little bit naughty, a little bit squeezing perhaps too much, but I think that would probably still go down as a racing incident. Pushing the limits there, but I wouldn't say quite breaking them, so good win by Magnussen there. And I think that always happens at the end of a race, so doesn't it? You always get a bit more fighty at the end of a race, and really good racing all race. I really enjoyed that one. I don't know what you just did.
Absolutely, that was a fantastic race, and it's amazing to think that actually after 8 races and 6 different winners, Magnussen now becoming the first person to get back-to-back wins so far this season, even though he has not really been a championship contender because of his poor showing in the earlier stages of the season, but he's really come alive now, especially after Monaco. Great performance from both of the McLaren boys in Monaco, but he does narrowly edge out Marco FD for the win here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Less than 0.7 of a second between them, and a full 20 seconds ahead of the next car. I mean, these guys really were in a class of their own. Double D rounding out the podium, a very well-deserved podium for Double D for sure. I'm sure he's going to be happy with that. Hamish grabbing that 4th place position on the final lap from Honey Badger. I'm sure he's going to be happy about that. Honey Badger in the end in 5th after dropping to last on the first lap. So great recovery drive from Honey Badger. I definitely have to give huge kudos to him. Just a fantastic drive from him. Unfortunately, we had some DNFs though. Titan Racing listed as a DNF. Is that accurate? Is that accurate? I'm not sure. Nikki, outside the points regardless, which is unfortunate after getting the podium in Canada. I'm sure Titan of Racing is going to be disappointed with that. Nicky FD as well, quite a ways behind. He went for an extra stop there and grabbed two sets of the option tires, and that doesn't seem to have worked out. Krama, unfortunately, our good friend Krama, not making it to the end of the race either. I was looking forward to seeing him race. So here we have the new standings. Ooh, so fancy. Marco FD currently leading with 144 points, 48 points. And but the new challenger is Magnussen. And I guess that's kind of the problem that we're seeing here, Alex. We keep seeing new challengers for Marco FD. I mean, first it was Hamish, then it was Klawutzke, now it's Magnussen, and we just, we can't get a solid contender going up against Marco FD. It just keeps switching around. Marco's just had incredible consistency. You can see up at the top there, never finishing outside of the top 5, and actually only finishing off of the podium that one time at Monaco. So incredible from Marco, incredible performance. But Magnussen takes that second place position with 96 points to Hamish's 92. Klawutzke drops down all the way to 4th position now with 81 points. Ycoms just behind him, his teammate in 5th position with 80 points. Cool Cat now in 6th position, dropping down to 6th position with 73 points now. Honey Badger 62, Passus in 8th, Double D, and then Fizzler rounding out the top 10. Nicky FD, Titan of Racing, Lucas Schumacher, Naka Deshima, and Type R as well. Everybody has scored points now, though, as we have dropped some of the non-attendees that were previously on these results screens. So everybody on this page has actually scored points, so that's fantastic to see. Really happy for all the drivers, and I think this has been one of the highlight races for me, and I don't think the rain had a small part in that. Mixed conditions races tend to be quite good, and this was no exception.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the thing is it was mostly clean as well. There was a couple of slightly naughty things, but I think it's probably one of the cleanest races we've seen this season. I think that does affect your overall opinion of it. And also having a battle for the lead right to the death is always great for the perceived excitement of a race as well. So yeah, but I really enjoyed that one. So I think they did Britain proud.
And in the Constructors' Championship, Scuderia Ferrari has taken the lead from Marussia once again. So actually, they have retaken the lead, I should say. McLaren in 3rd with 141 points, though. So they're really coming back. So actually, interestingly enough, the Constructors' Championship quite a bit closer than the Drivers' Championship, at least at the tip of the spear. In today's race, Red Bull taking 5th position from Caterham. Again, Caterham, though, is just Cool Cat. So to be right in there with the Red Bulls in the Constructors' Championship, you have to give Caterham some props. And Mercedes bringing up the rear in the Constructors' Championship with just 6 points. However, I'm sure they'll be looking to improve upon that with some new drivers. Good showing for Deshima, for example. We had a couple of new drivers today, and no issues with those guys. I think there was maybe a little bit of a naughty moment for Nuka, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Nuka cutting somebody off at the exit of Stowe, if I'm not mistaken, but not too bad. Those guys look like they fit right in. They're definitely on the pace, no doubt about that. Coming up next time, it is going to be the German Grand Prix from the Nürburgring. It should be pretty exciting. What's your preference, Alex, Nürburgring or Hockenheim?
Personally, Nürburgring, I think.
I like Sector 1 of Nürburgring, which is weird because it's really Mickey Mouse. But that's coming up next. I hope you guys join us. I hope you enjoyed today's race of the British Grand Prix, and we will see you next time for the German Grand Prix. Thanks again.